Yeah, I love that you said powerlessness. And I think all of us feel like, oh, that's not something I want to feel.
Yeah.
It's actually
Mm-hmm.
um, it's a terrible feeling.
Yeah.
Um, and yet it's a thoroughly Christian principle to sort of embrace.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's
I
awesome.
mean, I would just say one. So I think Saint Therese of Lisieux talked a lot about this, and Saint John of the Cross maybe a little bit too. We that dependence, the image. One of the images, like the elevator, um,
Yeah,
where
Therese.
when we realize that we are needy, and it's God who can scoop us up almost like an elevator. I think elevators were just being invented at the time of Saint Therese, and so she was like, "What if in my life, the ways that I really need God, what if He could break in and just lift me up to Himself like an elevator does at this rich person's home?" And um, and I think that image is really powerful. It's been a huge help for me for sure.
That particular image.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
image. Yeah, of the Father just lifting us up. This place of, Lord, I can't do it.
Yeah.
You actually have to do this. And all too often I'm trying to pull the reins back and do it myself, but it's not where He wants us to live.
What message, like if you could talk to, a group of college students or a group of young adults, and you had just a couple of minutes with
Mhm.
them, and floor's open, like
Yeah.
based on what you've experienced over these years and working with SPO and seeing kind of your life, be transformed, and you have this aim at living all of your life for the rest of your life for Jesus. What would you say?
I think as I look back on what was most impactful for me and I kind of hold with me is that I would never give up. I think there was, uh, I last 10 plus years have been really messy. My college years, my SBO years. Um, and
What do you mean by messy?
That's a good question, Ryan. um, I mean, relationally, there was working with men, being around women. Um, I just know I hurt people. Um, I think being a chapter leader for a number of years, and I didn't always make the right call, and I think that hurts. Um, and I know because I have to reconcile with my wife all too often that of ways that I mess up, or I hurt her, or for the kids. I mean, this is the constant thing that I'm working through today is when stuff hits the fan at home, what comes out of me. And it's not love, and it's actually yeah, too often it's just unrighteous anger. I mean, there's a lesson for them to learn. So I think as I look at the last number of years, to not give up in those moments, because there are moments, just even this past weekend, when everybody in the house, maybe not my wife, but I and my boys were just really negative. And at some point, it just, okay, I believe, Lord, that you can break into the negativity here, and to speak out that, and to pray for our family in that moment out loud so everybody could hear. Um, there, so I just think there was an opportunity there to not doubt the Lord, that in the midst of this um, difficult place, I believe that God could break in and continue to move us forward. And in my own day-to-day things, like, God, I believe you can break in here and move us forward. And so I think when I look at my last 10 years, when I think about trying to give the Lord all of my life, every area of my life, that is a lot. And then to commit that I want to give it to Him for the rest of my life, that also that could be a long time. And so it's a daily work. and to never give up, and to know that the Lord, there's nothing that can separate us from the Lord in that process. And that's what I'd want people to hear, is to never be discouraged. I think I myself have been discouraged way too often over the last number of years. And I would want college students and other young adults to not give up, and to know that the Lord's love is for them in that moment. He can break through. He wants to call them to himself. Um, and he has joy and freedom for them. And so Romans 7, Romans 8, I encourage people to read that, and it just engage the lifelong process with joy, trusting the Lord.
Yeah, it's like, how do you give all of your life to Jesus, just one day at a time?
Yeah.
Because that's really all we have.
1 minute at a time,
Yeah.
honestly.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's right, and I think that's really encouraging.